Hello and welcome to another Inktober. I am drawing day 8. I'm drawing day 9, which is swing. It was yesterday's. And I have here a gorilla. And they are endangered through habitat loss, through poaching, hunting. And he is one of 3 apes that is just testing cameras as we go. He's one of 3 apes that I will be drawing for the whole of this Inktober. I think the other one is going to be a chimp, so we've drawn orangutan, this is a gorilla, and there will be an ape at some point as well. So you can see I started last night but realised I was a little bit too tired to do it, so here we are today. And I've got a bit of a cold, so please excuse me if I do a bit of sneezing, coughing, spluttering. I'll try not to do it directly in the mic. All right, so we're going to make a start on this. I've already done a sound check as I've been talking. I have the comments box up, so please feel free to say hi. And what am I reaching for? Tissue. Feel free to say hi and ask any questions if you need to know anything. Quite happy to break off and describe what I'm doing. Alright, so a little bit about materials as always right at the beginning. I'm using Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay Indian ink. I've got both sets of those. The most amazing colours. They're wonderful. They work like watercolours when you hit them with brushes and water. So that's pretty good. You can see I've got a mix of black here, all ready to go. A palette here for the colours I'm going to choose. Paper-wise, this is Moulin de Roy watercolour paper, hot press. I'm looking forward to using this for some colour pencil work as well, just to see how it behaves. This is 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches, so it's a pretty small piece. If I put a normal size paintbrush, you can obviously see it's relatively small, and that is to cut down on time. If I did this bigger, it would of course take longer. That is the general formula for artwork. The bigger you go, the longer it takes you, and the more ink and supplies you use. Okay, that's it on materials. I've got I haven't done the brushes. Billy Shoal brushes. It's the only thing on here that isn't vegan. I bought them quite a while ago. They are not vegan brushes, so they're not synthetic, but they are absolutely exquisite brushes. From this point onwards, since I became vegan in 2017, I don't actually purposely buy any non-vegan supplies. Okay. These are dry brushes. I haven't prepared them. So how you prepare them. Oh, by the way, sorry, I didn't do the other one. I got a number 10 Royal Soft Grip SG250. There it is. When you prepare brushes from dry, you need to squish them on the bottom of the jam jar to remove all the air bubbles. Otherwise, an air bubble can pop while it's got ink on the end of your brush, and then that's going to make a mess on your paper. So it's always a good idea to prepare. As you can see, I've got 2 jars here. This one I'm swilling in now is the main swilling jar, and then I have, oh actually that's the wrong way around, I normally have the bigger one as the swilly jar and the smaller one as a clean water. So you'll see me dip in here when I remember. Yeah, doesn't always work that way. All right, so in all of my drawings this year, I'm doing human impact on animals, and I'm drawing the animals. I'm drawing them in black and white over this side and colour over this side. And the black and white is to represent the way animals are viewed by humans who don't really care about them, really. They just see them as commodities or in the way or something to be eaten. Or exploited and abused, as I did yesterday. I did a mouse to represent animal testing. The colour side is to represent their beauty, their natural life force, and so that's what I'm doing this year, and it's going to be amazing when I have 31 of these. It's just going to look brilliant. And I will be, just for information, I will be selling them. I'll be probably putting them up for auction, with 100% of the proceeds going to various animal charities. I haven't decided yet, or conservation trusts. I haven't decided. I will look at that later on. But all 31 drawings will be up for auction, and any prints resulting from these will also carry a percentage to go to charity. So just for a bit of information, they will be up for sale. Okay, so this, I think, was the longest sketch so far of Inktober. And that's because of drawing out the rope. And I imagine it's probably going to be quite a relatively lengthy one due to the rope. Because that is going to take a little bit of time to do. I don't want it detailed, just suggestive of the rope. So I have my reference photo. You've got the reference photo up there, up there. And if you are on Patreon, what you will get later on is a line drawing of this. Now, I've drawn all of the Inktober's freehand, and actually I haven't drawn out today's. So when I do a live draw of today's, I am going to show you the sketching process as well, and then the soaking process. And then the stretching process. Yeah. So yeah, I will put a line drawing up for those on Patreon. So you will have a copy. Got that one. I have to just, it's a nightmare. Excuse me. Hello, Janie. How are you? You're here. Yay. So at the moment what I'm doing, I've got well, it's quite a weak mixture. I don't want that brush. What am I doing? A relatively weak mixture. And every time I just put a line down, I'm going on the relevant side of it and just softening that edge. Bit delicate, this bit. Normally I've gone in by now with a kind of broad strokes. So yeah, I've just got this mix at the moment. I saved it from yesterday. I just popped a bit of cling film on it. So just keep swapping from the mix on this brush and the damp brush, which I'm keeping clean as much as possible, on the other one. Oh, that's really not useful, is it? I've just knocked over my mix. Luckily, I have a sponge to collect it. This is how carpets are ruined, you know. Or floors. Whole floors. There we go. I can pick some up from there, look. Rather than waste it. Excuse me, Janie getting ready for work. 6:45. Wow. That's early. I know it's not early for you. You get up a lot earlier, don't you? Early for me, though. Very delicate business, this. I probably should put a bit of blue tack on the bottom. So I'm looking quite intently at my reference photo just to see the form of this. Now each bit of rope, one side has a hard edge and the other has a soft edge. And that is to fool the eye that this is 3D, not 2D. Excuse me. So where you can see me stuttering with my brush, it's because I'm looking at the reference photo and trying to figure out where I am on the page. As in on the artwork, and whether it corresponds with the reference photo. This is of course the first layer, there will be more. So we've got one there, one there. Just trying to figure this out a minute. One there. Don't know where I am now. this. There. Janie, 10-hour day. 10 hours? God, that's a long time. Hello, Mareka? I don't know whether I said that right. Ah, you didn't get a notification, but you're here, so that's brilliant. You completely missed 60. Yeah, I missed a lot. Just an intro to materials. Right, where am I? Let's get a... So how you get a nice point on the end. If I can show you on here. So you drag your brush along, but as you drag it along, you twist it. So if you watch the writing on the brush, you twist it. And that helps to get a point if you haven't got one and you need one. Now, which brush has got which brush has got the black on? I think it's that one. Too much. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's having a problem with your name. It don't feel so bad. Right, I'm kind of losing this a little bit. Right, okay, so we've got another. That's why. Just keep cleaning my brush off. Because it does, when you've got quite wet paint down, it does pick up the pigment. So you have to keep cleaning that off. I've kind of made a mess of that. I can rectify it later when I do some darker lines on it though. Your drawing is only ever as good as your sketch. Oh, it's the pictures from Pixabay. You'll see it on Pixabay the other way around. I have to make an assessment on sorry, just concentrating. I have to make an assessment on which way round it's best for doing half and half, and which half I want to do in colour and which I want to do in the black. So you will see it opposite. And there's not too many gorilla pictures, so you will see it on there if you do a search. So what we've got here, we've got a mess, that's what we've got. Oops. So this one here, this one here, I probably should have done this first. This one here. Excuse me, so I have a cold, developed last night. Hopefully it won't be a bad one. Fingers crossed. Okay, so where are we at? Right, so I'm going to leave that for a minute. Swap to a bigger brush. I'm going to map in some of the other darks. Oh, have a good day, Janie. Have a good day at work. So all I'm doing now is with this relatively light mix, actually probably needs a bit more water that. There's probably easier ways of doing that. I do have a spray bottle next door. Just want to dull that down a bit. Just a bit more. I want this to be my really light mix, just to map out some of the dark areas. So I'm mapping out literally the darkest areas that I can see. And with animals, I quite like going in the direction of the fur. That one will dry pretty light. So quite delicate, this. So if I get the details right now, then oh, my mic's falling off. Then actually the rest becomes relatively easy. I don't get a lot of colds. This is my the first one I had was a very, very mild cold, and that was the first one of the year. Now, I'm normally pretty good. I get a lot of sinus problems, but that's not a cold. And I have allergies, so you probably hear me sniffing and sneezing a lot, but it's not a cold. But yes, I do take vitamins. It's very hard to see what I'm doing here. You're doing shapes. It's not always so easy. Just picking up some of that colour. I did get it off of Pixabay, yes. It'll be up for download on Patreon when I finish this. So you'll be able to see it. So I'm just softening the edge. Yeah, I had a very mild cold. That was the first of the year. Actually, I don't get many colds. You got it? Good. So all I'm doing, just a quick reminder, on some edges that fade out where I don't want a hard edge, and actually the other side as well, put down a bit of water, soften the edge, and I'm just working with these two techniques, putting down some dark to map out the darkest areas of the gorilla, and then softening edges where it needs to be softened. Anybody spot the mistake? Yes. It's been a challenge, that line. It's just easy, so easy to forget that you're only doing half the drawing in black and the rest in colour. So it's very easy to get that wrong. Anyway, luckily it was still wet. If I'd have spotted it later, I would have had a bit of a job covering that. You've found the photo. Brilliant. So I'd say out of the pictures I've done so far, this definitely has been the most delicate. So I went a bit too far up with that, and I'm gonna swap brushes a minute. So that'll be my blender and the smaller brush I'm gonna use for ink. The reason for that is the bigger brush is actually slightly better for blending. Again, just a reminder, I'm just blocking out where some of the darkest areas are. So I just use where there's a pool of black, I just go back in to pick up more of the pigment on my brush. Oh, spot the mistake again. Ah, it's past the line. That's okay. Stop. Stop. My greatest challenge is to stop at the halfway point. Right, okay, I've got that sus now. It's famous last words. Okay, so now, actually, not quite finished. I've lost my pencil line on that, so I'm going to have to freehand. Great. All right, let's pick our colours. Let's have a look. I think I'm going to go for some turquoise. I'll just do a drop of each. One drop. So we've got turquoise. Let's go for blue. One drop. Yeah, we're doing some different colours this time. Let's have a green. I always put a bit of pink in mine, so I'm going to pop a magenta in, one drop in each. And let's pop a bit of tangerine in. Right, so I'm just going to get my bigger brush. I'm just going to drop a few drops of water in each. There. Perfect. I'm just giving my brush a good dry off. I'll start on his arm, I think. I'm going to map out some of the darkest area and have to decide what colour I'm going to do those. So I think, I'm going to do them green. Let's do something completely different. So same as the grayscale side, I'm just going to block out some of that colour. So I know where I'm going. I've lost his little ear. But I do know it's right in the middle of his arm. So, nice damp brush. Excuse me. Damp brush. Hello.
I know what you're up to.
Yes, drawing gorillas. Drawing gorillas.
Good quality.
What, the picture?
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it's so bit of information. I record on my iPhone, which is far superior to most of the webcams. Just get a much better picture. But it is a bit of a faff and an expense to set it up, so you have to buy special leads and buy software in order to get it to work. Be amazing when there's 31 of them. He pops in every now and again just to check on me, see how I'm doing, but secretly he just wants a coffee. He's going, it's your turn, but you're on a live draw. So you just keep working at the darkest ones, darkest values that you can see. Right, so that's the green done. Now I want to let that dry. I'm going to go back over to the black side. And quite simply, I'm just going to reinforce some of the darkest areas. So just my mix there. I'm not going to soften these lines for a minute. I'm just mapping them out. This is what I needed to have done to begin with, really. I often swap sides. Bit too much on my brush. I've also missed one there. I think that's part of his hand actually. But on the photo it looks like it's part of the rope. Okay. Ooh. Takes quite a bit of concentration, that. So I'm just going to go back over some of these, and while I'm doing that I often see bits that I've missed. Just darken some of these areas. Try not to go over the line this time. That's what I like about layering and this way of doing things. I'm not actually going over exactly where I've been. I'm looking at the reference photo, and almost like the first time I did it, I'm looking to see where the black needs to be. And by doing that, you kind of create visible layers one underneath the other, and creates quite a nice effect. I am, however, trying to preserve those original highlights here. Not to go over the line this time. Hi, Esther, no. Reference photo, reference photo, reference photo. If you think about it, even if you drew in situ, you know, if you're drawing something in front of you, some still life, you've still got a reference. It's actually very, very hard to draw out of your head and out of your imagination unless you have done extensive drawing of a subject. So in other words, you needed to have studied your subject and also studied general forms of that thing. So if I was going to draw humans, for example, I'm either going to copy direct, you know, from a reference photo, or I'm going to learn about how to draw human anatomy, and that will inform me of how best to go about drawing humans. And once I've done that over and over and over and over again, only then will I be able to draw away from a reference photo. So I'm glad you joined. You don't have to worry. Sketch lines help massively, actually. Your underlying sketch. If your underlying sketch is no good, then chances are your painting or drawing isn't going to be. I think sketching, the ability to sketch, is one of the most important skills to learn. If you can sketch, you can pretty much use any medium. Yeah, how rude of me. Welcome. Yay. Somebody new fodder. Getting a darker or lighter colour. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. That's all it is. So a few things you just have to bear in mind. One is, so here, where I've done this bit here, let's just actually, I just need to take some of that colour off. We'll dry to a hard edge. So if you want a soft edge, you have to get a damp brush and literally work it around the edges. Like that. Now, where this has got quite a bit of paint on here, a bit of ink, you just take some of that ink off by drying your brush. You have to dry your brush, and then your brush will soak up some of the excess. Then when you put your water on, you'll be able to soften the edge without the water spilling right into what you've just done. So you've either got soft edges or hard edges with watercolour or inks, if you can do it in this way. And layer, layer, layer. But yes, always a reference. A good thing about a reference, a bit like what I'm doing, is you can change it up, you can add bits, you can take bits out. You know, don't just be a copying machine. Definitely don't be a copy machine. Over the years you will learn as an artist how to position where to put things on your page. You'll learn by looking at a photo whether or not it will lend itself to a drawing. So you get some drawings, photographs that I look at and I just go, they just won't work. It won't translate to a drawing. It will look odd, or you won't be able to figure that bit out. So you might want to take bits out, add bits, change bits, and this is a good thing. Oh, I'm missing stuff here. What am I missing? Oh my god, you're both from the same place. Jade's from Liverpool. I'm in Cornwall. UK, Cornwall. I know there's one in America. Alright, back to the side. Doing it slightly different today, you may notice. Give my brushes a good old wash. Wish I hadn't spilt my black on my sponge. It's limited my sponge drying where I go. Never mind. Okay, let's do a bit of blue. Well, actually, no, let's do a bit of turquoise. I do like turquoise. Damp brush. Turquoise. Damp brush. Spread that colour around a bit. I just want to pick up a bit of that pink. Magenta. I may regret this. Let's see how it behaves. The turquoise should be fine. Let's just map out his eye a minute. Now his other eye is slightly less coloured. I think it's slightly in the shade there. Let's just map that anyway. Might as well, excuse me, since we've got the orange, go for a bigger brush. And do this little bit on the top of his head. Just putting, again, we're still just doing preliminary layers here, just mapping out some of the details. Let's pop a bit here. And I'm just looking at some highlighted areas. I can't do over there, obviously, because that's my black side. Let's kind of do a bit. Let's put a bit of colour there. Alright. Yeah. Put a bit of that blue. This is just straight blue. And obviously I'm not going to do there. Just going to map out again some of that darker areas on his face. Ooh, wrong side. I can cover that with a black line. See how easy it is? This is a bit different to what I've done before in the sense of doing a few details at the beginning rather than at the end. That will still happen, but I'm just marking out these first and last. Great. Ooh, lots of concentration there. Alrighty. We got I think going to pop a bit of orange and a bit of magenta here. Right, so thank you, Jade. Oh wow, orange eyes makes it pop. Yeah, hopefully. They've got to have some dark on them as well, but you know each other. It's amazing. I didn't. So Esther, I didn't do the sketches on the live. I did the sketches off of live. So I sketch them out first. It takes a bit of time to sketch, but actually I haven't sketched out today. Just let me hold on a moment. I want to just test out this colour a minute. So I'm trying to do obviously more than two things at once. Yeah, I like that colour. Okay, I'm just going to make a real watery mix of this. Yeah, today's I will be sketching live. I do have plenty of videos on my profile, by the way, of sketching live. I also go into quite some depth on some of the Patreon videos as well. Sorry, I'm concentrating at the moment. It's hazard of the job. And also want a bit of that green, just a tad lighter. Well, actually, I'm on catch up. This is yesterday's, but actually, I've got day 6 and day 7. I haven't started yet. I have sketched it out. Not true, I haven't started it. Actually, yeah, let's do the green up here. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pop a bit of... I want a bit of golden yellow in this mix. So I'm just going to tap this. I'm not putting a drop in. I'm just tapping that on the edge. Because it's quite a weak mix anyway. A bit more. Just want to create a different green. Let's get in there. I think that'll be about it though. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So I just wanted to create a new light green. Just get that off that blue on it. A green gorilla. So sometimes when you do a new mix, a different colour, and you layer it over some of the other stuff as well, you get quite a nice combination of colour. Creates a third value, a third tone, whatever you want to call it. You can then pick out certain areas that you want it in. Thank you, Esther. There is a reason. So the theme for my Inktober is human impact on animals, and the black and white represents, I guess, the dulled down view. We have a lot of animals, so we don't necessarily see them as beautiful creatures. We see them as pests in the way. A side effect of our building and growth process, whereas the colour represents their true beauty. So there is a reason, and I think they're going to look amazing when they're all done. Hopefully, that's the hope. So let's come back in with some orange. And deepen up some of this colour. In fact, let's start going a bit darker. Now, orange, I don't want that much of. Use my small brush. I don't know. Let's get this in plain view. So I'm just going to put a couple of, or one drop actually, of the neat colour on the end of the brush. The rest goes back in the pot. You've got to be careful of mixing colours when you do that. So you're going to make sure that you don't have other colours on your brush. Because that then drops straight into your nice pot of ink. So just pop a bit more colour in there. That's already wet, so it'll just soak that colour up. Good. Let's pop that away for a minute. I also want a bit of golden yellow on there. I'm going to do, rather than golden... No, I am going to do golden yellow. Sorry. Let's be decisive. Alright, so I'm just going to dry off my brush. Pop a bit of that pure colour in. And initially I'm going to do it away from the orange, but I will join it up. Yellow is a particularly good highlighter if you are drawing bright colours. So the trick to deciding what colours to put where is purely on what colours they are. So purple, blue and dark green lend themselves to be good for dark areas. Yellow, orange, pink. Some of those colours tend to lend themselves much better to lighter colours and mid-tones. Obviously yellow, yeah, you preserve that for your highlights, along with whites, of course. Yes, Jade needs lots of encouragement, folks. She's doing really well. Just splashes of yellow here. Yeah, I did that last year actually. I just played with inks last year. I didn't really have a theme other than bright colours and playing with inks. What do I need? What do I need? Yeah. Okay, good. Just clean my brushes off a minute. I'll go over to the black side in a minute. Honest. So, what I haven't done, let's use this blue. Just fill in that bit. I'm going to pop a dash in there. That was magenta. Now I've got 2 greens. That's interesting. Do I want that green? I definitely don't want grass green, that's fine. Make it a bit gaudy. So, a drop in there. In fact, I'm going to put a couple of drops in there because that's my darks. I might actually mix another colour with it just to darken it a little bit. So, turquoise. It's probably going to be a bit of blue and green actually, turquoise. What else we got? We've got the blue over there. Let's pop some of that in. I think that's it. Orange, yeah, we've done orange, that's fine. Okay. Green. I'm going to get the big, no good getting the big brush. Sorry, just musing to myself. Get to hear the process that goes on artist's head when you do live draw. I'm just softening up some of these edges. I definitely will need to use a darker colour. So let's have a little look. Let's take out that green in the centre, and I can now take out those weaker mixes. Take that one and that one. So I need one of them for a darker black, so I'm going to reserve one of those for that. But otherwise, I'm going to pop in a little bit of violet. Put 2 drops in. I'm hoping to do another Inktober today, so I'm hoping that these will serve me for the next one as well, even if I have to change the colours on a couple of them. So let's get that. I don't want too strong a mix at the moment. Mindless look like a 12-year-old mode on. Oh, that's really, really good. Did you not have a reference photo? You're trying to get by without them? Can you soften the edges by wetting the ink again after it is dried? No. It's permanent. Permanent. There's no wetting anything. What I've forgotten to do here is put a highlight in. So I'm going to have to pop that back in white. No, permanent, permanent, permanent. There's no going back. This one. Coming in with the blue. That was the one without references. Just use a reference. It is a lot easier. It's more of that blue. concentration, folks. Let's have a slurp on my breakfast that I'm still drinking at 1:20. Damp brush. Soften up some of these edges. Oh, picked up some of the black. See, that's not good. I spilt that. Just want to come in with a bit of that pink. It's off and soften. Soften and blend. Got all sorts of pop-ups coming up. Are you talking about monkey? Yeah, it's just practice. You're unpracticed, Jade, and unskilled at the moment, and you're building those skills and practices. It's the best way to describe it. You know, if you get somebody, I know, who's just learning to build walls, they're not going to build a perfect wall until they are practiced and skilled. Same with art. Exactly the same with art. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that violet with it, and what I'm using the violet for does change the colour somewhat, but is it just makes it a lot darker. And I need to soften those edges. Why are you apologising, Esther? Still on the green. Who was I? I think I'll go for a bit of blue on top of that. Bit of green. And before it dries, I'm just going to put in a tad of the violet. This is just in the darkest of darkest areas. Just going to drop that in rather than paint it in. Damp brush. I don't want that to be a hard edge. Especially up here. Oh, Dean. Oh, that's okay. I'll just pop some green here. In fact, some green and blue. Let's just mix those up. And just going to pop in some of that violet. soften. I don't want this to spread too far. Kind of lost his ear here somewhere, so what I'm going to do is just draw it in. If all else fails, just draw a shape. And then shade in it. Just pop a bit of dark along the edge. That should do it. So that ear would have been normally quite light, and I might touch it up with a highlight later. And to green. How long have you been an artist? I do it professionally, but both, really. It's not my day job. But definitely, I mean, I enjoy that. I could do this, well, I couldn't do it all day. Obviously, you'd get a bit tired. But you know what I mean, as the expression goes. But yes, do it professionally. So I do take on commissions. I don't take on many commissions, but a few. And I've recently started doing the Patreon thing. Well, recently. It's been going a little while. But it's quite hard to realise how much work goes into that. It's highly underestimated. I highly underestimated it. So yeah, I do a bit of tutorial on Patreon, and that's, you know, when this live video ends, that's where this will go. It will go on to Patreon. Live videos are actually a lot easier for Patreon, but of course you can't do that all the time. You've got to do proper guided tutorials with no chatty stuff on the end of the video, or at any point in the video. It's just pure tuition. But video processing takes probably about 10 times longer than actually recording and drawing the video. Drawing in the video. It's very difficult, you know, to talk and concentrate on what you're doing at the same time. Unless you're talking about the process, and then it's actually quite easy. Not too far being finished on this side. I have some of the darkest darks, of course, on the eyes. How does one know where to stop? Always a good question, that. Actually, let's have some of that turquoise. Alright, so other than the black of the eye, and maybe when this dries I might darken a few bits up, but that looks pretty finished. I'll now go do this side. This side is going to be quicker because when you introduce colour it's always going to be a longer process than just a black and white image. Esther, thank you. It's good to know I'm doing a good job of talking, painting, explaining. It is hard. I'm just looking at what I got to do over here. I probably need to do a bit of a wash over most of this now, just to give it a bit of colour. But I might give this a blast with a hairdryer. What I've been having lately is the colour go through to the black side. Mainly because the it's still wet when I start the black side. So I'm just going to use a hairdryer with a medium setting, medium heat. It doesn't actually take very long to dry. Inks dry a lot faster than watercolour. Oops. Sorry, a bit boring. So other than a couple of bits up here, that's pretty dry. And since it's dry, you know, I might as well go in and do the eyes. So for that, and I haven't got my white out yet either. For that, I'm just going to use some of the violet. The darkest of darks. I'm not going to touch the rest, I'm just going to make his eyes pop a bit. I also might put a bit of extra orange in the eye. I don't know. We'll see. I could do this with a dip pen, by the way. Just gonna keep doing that. We're out of focus. Come on. There we go. Ah, maybe. That's not too bad. So I just keep dropping a bit of that violet on the end of my brush. You might as well do just a few of the dark lines. Might as well. I wasn't going to, but of a damp edge just to soften. Okay, let's do his eye. Lots of concentration. And because I've started to put some dark on, it is going to look a bit better. If I continue actually. Oh, just when you think you're finished. I knew this one would take me a while. Alright, so there we go. That's that. Out with hairdryer again then. Ah. Should you want to buy some inks, there's plenty of what's called open stock really out there. I would recommend getting the 2 sets. It's probably the most economical way of doing it. So the Dr. P.H. Martin comes in set 1 and set 2. Most people start with set 2, but definitely shop around because there is normally a £10 difference depending on where you shop. So I do just want to pop in a... Do I want to pop in a shadow? Probably. Let's have a look. There we go. That'll do. Right, this side then. Let's tackle that rope. Alright, so I'm going to pop this away. And I'm going to do a nice strong black in here. I think this is the most detailed piece I've done so far. This is a bad thing. I want to actually move away from doing too many details. There we go. Nice, relatively dark mix. Now on my last one, which I did a mouse, I went far too dark in areas, which was not a good thing. No, just make sure this is dry. Yep. So one brush to layer it, and a second brush to soften it in the direction of the shading. So this time I'm going to do one at the top and one at the bottom, which will give each one a little bit of time to dry. I'm just going to choose these randomly actually. Tricky, tricky, tricky. They are very good, and a little goes a very, very long way. I might do. I'm going to experiment just doing it a different way. Let's pick one. Mm. See whether that works. Might work a bit better than how I've been doing it. Less control. I do know that. A lot less control. Right, I'll go back to where I was, I think. And I'm going to be a little less fussy, because otherwise I'm going to be here forever. And I want to get the next one done. And I want a cup of coffee. I want many things. So, that's what I'm going to do. That needs a tad more water. There we go. I think. Folding your washing, that sounds very exciting. so it's not very blended. It's a bit unblended. Stark colours, stark contrast, but hey ho. Right, in with the lighter mix. Alright, lighter mix. Let's have a bit more water in there. Need my bigger brush. Oh, lots of concentration. So can anybody tell me how? Oh, I can see 2.5 hours. Wow, this is definitely my longest piece, I think, so far. Just pick up a bit of that dark colour. So I just need to make a small adjustment. On this side. Without lifting the black up, we hope. But maybe just a bit, just to darken this colour. So I need a break. So what I'm going to do is wrap up this live draw for now. I'm going to have a cup of coffee, have a break, and I will resume later. I'll pop it up on my profile when I'm about to start. Maybe give a 10-minute warning. Otherwise, I'm just going to have a quick look at my work day. Realistically, I'm probably, if I do come on, it will be in about half an hour. That brings us to 2:45. Yeah, about 2:45, 4 o'clock kind of time. Preferably 2:45. If I'm not on, then it won't be until about 9:30, 10 o'clock this evening. But I am hoping to, finish this one off, but also start today's, which will include a sketch today. I will do the sketch. I'll flatten the paper first and then I'll do the sketch after. Okay, so this is day 8, day 9 even. Is it day 9 or is it day 10? What's today? 10th. It's day 9. Swing, and hopefully I will finish it off later on. It's a gorilla, of course, but I want to thank you all so much for joining me. If you haven't already, subscribe to YouTube. They do let you know when I go live. Join me on Facebook. I will let you know when I go live. And if you really want to watch these over and over again and have a go yourself, so there'll be line drawings and everything, I'll do that in November. I'm a bit busy in October. Join Patreon, $5 a month. You get access to all my tutorials, including colour pencil and graphite. All right, thank you very much. Good to see you all chatting amongst yourselves as well. I shall see you soon, either 4:45, 4 o'clock time, or later on at 10 o'clock tonight. 9:30, 10. All right, hopefully I shall see you then. You take care, guys.